All right. Good morning, everyone. My name is Nick. If you guys need coffee, there's coffee in the corner and restrooms are on the left. We'll get started in about 5 minutes. A 5-minute countdown as well. And everybody on Zoom, if you're there, hello, good morning. And we'll get started in about 5 minutes. Oh, all right. We're going to get started. So wrap up your conversations. Take a seat if you can. We're going to get started. All right. Gonna kill the music. Mike, come on over. Come on over. Good morning. How you doing? Good morning, everyone. Welcome to 1 Million Cups Denver. My name is Nick. I'll be your MC for today. Is there feedback? Or is it just me? Find me on LinkedIn if you want. I'd love to connect with you. Oh, there's someone's speaker on. Might be mine. Fixed it. All right. 1 Million Cups. Going through my slides too fast. We meet every Wednesday, 9 a.m. here at Green Spaces, also on Zoom. Free coffee over in the corner and tea as well. We have one presenter today. Usually they're about 6 minutes. After the presentations, we give 15 to 20 minutes of audience feedback and constructive criticism. This is a safe space for the entrepreneurs to be open and transparent. We're here to discuss ideas, not people, and to build connections. Just to give you an idea of like who we're looking for at 1 Million Cups, ideally we're looking for presenters that are in the teenage stage where they have kind of validated idea, but they're still open to feedback, because that's what 1 Million Cups is about, is to get feedback from the audience and use that feedback as well. My mic on again. So who's here? Who is here that is new to 1 Million Cups today? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Awesome. And who in the audience considers themselves an entrepreneur? All right, about half. Awesome. If you guys don't know, we do have a website, 1millioncups.com/Denver. At this website, you can see who's presenting each week. You can also follow us. I send out a weekly newsletter each week about who's presenting. We do have an app as well if you want to use an app too. We do have a LinkedIn group. I share a lot of the presenters' information on the LinkedIn group and also community events on there as well. So please join our LinkedIn group. Shout out to our sponsors, Green Spaces, the Perk Coffee. That's what you're drinking right now. Good Elephant, Puno Media, Founders Craft, the Commazon Champa, and the Colorado Lending Source. Joseph, I need to add your company as well. But let's give all of them a big round of applause. Clap, clap, clap. Just guys, to let you guys know about Green Spaces, if you guys do come to 1 Million Cups, you can stay for the rest of the day for free and work. Just check in the front with Holden. He's right over there. Free coffee and tea. I work out of here. Courtney as well. If you have any questions about Green Spaces, ask us any questions you might have. And shout out to our org team, myself, Gregarious, Courtney, Joseph, Allie's not here, Josh as well. Thanks for all the work you guys do. If you're interested in being an organizer, we can always use some help finding new presenters or just getting new attendees here as well. Now we're going to do some quick introductions. I'm looking for 3 or 4 volunteers just to do a quick introduction of who they are, what they do, why they're here, fun fact, anything else you might want to add. Looking for some volunteers. If not, I'm just going to call on people. Okay, cool.
Hey there. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. My name's Kelly Rome. My husband JD and I moved to Denver from Austin in November.
Cool.
We were both made remote as part of COVID, which was fun, and the lack of social interactions getting to us. So we wanted to venture out. I worked for Dell for 13 years. He's at Dell now currently, and recently changed to an Austin-based startup, about 15 people. So I'm just getting to know the startup world.
Awesome. Thanks for coming out. Who else?
Hi, my name's Carlos. Joseph, thank you. We found each other on Facebook, another way to connect, of course. I run Mobile Office Strategist, which I started last year after leaving the tech world and Verizon. I help small businesses kind of, how to say it nicely, get their head out of their ass sometimes, because so many people don't use this $1,000 device that they've got in their pocket to help run their business. That's what I help them do.
Awesome. All right. Who else? Go ahead.
I'm Emily Kahn. I moved from the corporate world to a startup, Y Combinator 2017, and I'm not a founder, but I call myself a growth accelerator as a salesperson there. So new to the startup world, but really exciting and absolutely love it so far.
Awesome. Cool. Who else? Awesome.
Hey folks, my name is Ryan Hill. I been in Denver about 6 years. Came from the corporate world. I dabble in real estate investing. I think the most excited thing I am right now about is my meetup group that 4 people come to every week. It's at Cheeseman Park, and the whole goal is to get people that are entrepreneurs out and active and sweating and playing frisbee and all these different activities, and then masterminding afterwards. I just really like sports and the outdoors and entrepreneurship, and I want to find other people that like doing that stuff too.
Awesome. To give you some hope, we were at 4 people at one time. So keep on going. Keep on doing it. They will come. Awesome. Well, let us know later, or give me your information. And I'll share it on our LinkedIn page as well. Any other introductions? Going once. Okay.
I'm Brianne. Is that on? You guys can hear? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, real close.
Okay. I'm Brianne, and I just moved to the Denver area. I'm actually in the middle of business school in Philadelphia, but I'm here through December, working on a startup doing wilderness corporate retreats.
And you're going to be presenting at 1 Million Cups shortly, right? Awesome. Cool. Well, thanks for those introductions. And later today, we're going to do some community announcements. So if you have anything you want to share on other events, we'll be doing that later in the event. Before we get into our presenter, I just want to let you know that they're here for your feedback. So while they're presenting, think of maybe one thing you want to provide as a feedback or a question, because the more dialogue we have, the better this event is. It's not just about them presenting, it's about us interacting. So our presenter today is SmartMov. SmartMov is a social media platform fixated on helping people grow their wealth. SmartMov allows users to make progress against their saving goals. Target market is women between 25 to 40, using social media, influencers, bloggers, and hosting CH. Founded in March 29th, 2021. Let's give a big round of applause to James. Come on up.
All right. So let me first get my screen up, and then I'll kind of introduce myself and get this thing going. There we are. All right, so I'm James Anderson. I actually just relocated to the Colorado area from Kansas City in January. Kind of moved out here and just threw both feet into the water and started my own company, kind of based on my own personal philosophy that I've kind of followed for maybe 20 years or so. So hopefully you guys kind of get some things out of it, and I'm looking forward to the feedback. So the company is SmartMov, making smart financial moves together. And what we're asking for today is, what advantages, value do you see in using SmartMov? Why would or wouldn't you use SmartMov? What do you think would be a good question or questions to ask in our marketing survey to kind of get a better feel for folks and where they are in their lives? And actually, I'm looking for beta users. We're about to launch next week, Monday, and I just need people to help me prove that our revenue assumptions are going to work. If not, we're going to pivot and have to change things around, but we got to test that out for a couple weeks, or not weeks, months, and just see how that goes. So with further ado, kind of jump in here, is 60% of Americans cannot cover an unexpected expense with savings. 75% of Americans have gone into debt to pay for a vacation. In fact, for example, the average family of four's vacation to like Disney World costs over $5,240. If you were to finance that with a credit card for 2 years, you'd pay over $6,051. However, if you were to save for 2 years, it would only cost you $5,110. So if you could save over $941 over finance charges, that leads us to the question of, well, why aren't we saving? When we asked people why they weren't saving, the majority responded, I don't see the point when a savings account doesn't pay me any interest. In fact, you're right. The average savings account offers 0.04% at your brick and mortar bank. Even the highly vaulted high yield savings account offer 12 and a half times that with a piddly 0.5%. Doesn't cover inflation, folks. But would you be surprised to know there are credit unions and small banks that offer 75 times that with 3% or better APY? Actually, just running my app this morning, we found in the Colorado area, one bank down the road at 5.28% with a maximum balance of $5,300. Another credit union offering 5.12 at $1,000. And we're trying to pre-filter these so that way you're not getting caught with the gotchas. So with our technology, we're creating a digital wallet. You can connect all your existing accounts and add these better paying accounts to the mix, keeping your existing checking account at brick and mortar, but connect your new savings accounts, your brokerage accounts like Vanguard, and other accounts. A second common answer to why aren't you saving is that I just don't have any money to save. But every day we make smart spending decisions to save. We just haven't taken the step of making the savings permanent. With SmartMove, you can take the $10 you saved at the bottom of your receipt, and with just a few clicks, save $10 towards your vacation. And when you get that $70 prepaid debit card in the mail, you can move $70 from your checking account to your emergency fund so you're not overspending. A third common answer to the question of why aren't you saving is it's just too far off and hard to imagine. I don't know how much I'll need. Studies show that retirement and other far off goals are difficult for us to imagine. Well, in our app, we're allowing you to set goals and track your progress. That's why we allow you to customize your goals. Add pictures to help you imagine what you're saving for, whether it's a vacation, wedding, business expense, or setting aside money to cover your insurance deductible. You can add, track, and watch as you make progress against the goals that are important to you. Another reason that we're not saving is talking about money is hard and unpleasant. Parents responded to a national survey they would prefer to have the talk, literally, than to talk about money. In an e-money survey of over 2,500 folks, more than half, 57%, admitted to purposefully avoiding money talk with friends. We've made it anonymous to share money triumphs and goals, giving users the ability to see how others are doing and allow you to learn new ways to save and hustle. Psychologists set up a study comprised of 5 brain imaging experiments and found the same parts of our brains lit up when posting about ourselves as eating and other extremely pleasurable experiences. Personal finance is crowded. Everybody's fintech. There are solutions that round up your purchases to the nearest dollar, apps that calculate your net worth, budgeting solutions, other savings apps, investing apps. There's bloggers out there. There's Facebook groups. And there's Reddit threads. There's just numerous sources of information that kind of come at you. So then why us? Why SmartMove? Our approach is different. We are free. We're not going to get you, so some of these roundup programs, if you do 12 transactions a month and you're rounding up, say at 50 cents up, that's $6, but they're hitting you with a $5 subscription fee. You'll literally netted $1, and they don't offer your interest. Literally, we don't like that, and we're trying to work around that, but we got to test this. A second thing is we're encouraging a gradual change in habit. We want users to achieve success by taking small steps instead of drastic, rigorous changes. So the budgeting and that sort of thing. This is for you to start the habit. So then why do we think we're the team to tackle this problem? Well, I personally have 15 years experience in finance and in continuous improvement. I personally benefited from following the strategies we're making possible using this app. Austin, my co-partner, has over 15 years experience in software development and is actually going to take our version 2 to version 3, which is going to be native. So again, we're back to my ask that in the beginning. So what advantages or value do you see in using SmartMove after hearing me ramble? What do you think would be a good question to ask in our marketing survey or questions? What can we maybe get the pulse of folks? And why would or wouldn't you use SmartMove? Like, what's your hesitation? And we're looking for beta testers. So again, we're going to be testing our revenue model, and we got to see how engaged people are on that, because our revenue strategy is actually to have advertisements in our news feed, like an Instagram and things like that. We don't want to charge people, and we want to help people. And with that, you can contact me at smartmove.co or my email, james@smartmove.co. That's not a mistype. Just can't own.com yet. Someone in Panama doesn't want to answer my emails. And smart.move at Instagram and smartmove.finance on Facebook, all these ways. And I was going to put my personal number out there, but I didn't want everybody just flashing it. So email me and I'll answer rigorously and quick. All right. Thank you.
All right. Big round of applause for James. Do you want to leave your ask slide up there so people can reference it?
Absolutely.
While you do that, I'd love to hear, to start off, the story behind the name.
So every day we're making smart financial moves. So kind of that is the pun is Smart Move. In fact, we're LLC here in Colorado, which is Smarter Financial Moves. So Smart Move is just kind of, I felt like you're making smart financial moves, so we just shortened it, and the move is cute.
Cool. All right. Who has feedback or question? Start in the back here.
You mentioned that the service is free to the users. So I'm curious, what's your revenue model? How do you guys make money?
All right, so let me get back to my ask questions and how we're going to make some money. There we go. Okay, so it's kind of back to that revenue is talking about advertising. So what we're really excited about is our version 3. Gamification of savings, everybody. It's going to be awesome. So everybody in the personal finance always talks about skipping your morning brew at Macro Brew down the road. And so what we're kind of doing is these challenges. So kind of like a Strava or like a Fitbit, where you meet these particular goals. So in one example, for example, that we do is working with smaller roasters, you get a coupon for meeting a certain savings goal. So you give up going to Macro Brew for 3 days a week for 3 weeks, you'll get a coffee subscription coupon that you get to opt in. Or on the other Stravas, like if you start biking to work or something like that, you get those. But in addition, our newsfeed is going to have advertisements that are kind of tailored to kind of those things that have coupons or those types of things.
All right.
So I saw on the first slide that your target market was women 25 to 40. How did you get that market? And as 2 men founders, how are you getting kind of the perspective of your market?
All right. Actually, great question. I just fielded this question. So first, that the women actually control most of the spending. Of spending, 70% is done by the women. They're the ones actually pulling the card out and that sort of thing. So that's the reason for it. In addition, there is a lot of focus around kind of personal financial education around that area. In fact, that's the area that needs the most help. And then for the co-founders, is me and Austin right now. I didn't put her slide up there. Wendy, she's actually out of Kansas City, but she's basically our marketing person, but she's a contractor, so she's not that. But it's very important for us to kind of get into that mindset, just because we understand that's our focus area. However, yes, we're 2 dudes, so we got to get around that problem.
You did mention it and earlier, like I use Acorn and Mint, both. What makes you guys so different? Because that's obviously a pretty saturated market in terms of that. Hey, take a percentage and we're going to save it for you.
Yeah, well, Acorn, actually, I'm excited to see that a lot of credit unions now do the roundup function. So I'm hoping that Acorn gets a little beat up, because I don't like their subscription model of, oh, you have to spend to save. I just don't like that. As for like the mints and that sort of thing, what our next version is going to have that net worth part of it. But really our bread and butter is these smart financial moves. So it's like if you're going out and eating and you decide to skip the appetizer that night, well, you can pull the app out and literally in a couple seconds, you save $10 to a vacation. And all of a sudden you're getting into that habit of savings. So I believe in, some automation of savings, but in reality, that's not going to make a habitual change. And that's what we're trying to help people at. If you start going, oh my goodness, I frivolously spent this money, and I can kind of give you a story. I've been working since I was 11 years old, paper routes, selling junk to door. Like literally, I made a board with my little sister, put nails in it, and you would put rubber bands to make these geometrical shapes like that I learned about in elementary school. And we went door to door selling it. My point is, I was working all this time and I still ended up with student loans. And you know why? Because of the fact that I had frivolous purchases. I was frivolously buying Mountain Dew. I was frivolously buying candy. I was frivolously buying video games and all that stuff. Like I didn't have the mentality of saving. But once I got out of college with a finance degree, with a minor in economics, it was a little embarrassing to the fact that I had so much debt, and yet I knew about the power of compound interest. And this kind of with spreadsheets, it was the genesis. And that's how we kind of started saving.
Thanks for the presentation. This is a cool idea from my perspective. What I see being the driver of what would get me excited is the part that people don't like to talk about money. It's an emotional game, and it's something that people hide and lie about, and I would imagine that it's a key driver in spousal issues and all that stuff. I'm curious how much you're going to be focusing on that versus going out and competing with, uh, people that are trying to help you save on Mountain Dew or coffee, and instead of like talking about that piece of it. I guess the real question I'm curious about is if you were to run a Facebook ad for your company tomorrow, what would it say?
Oh, so actually, there's a prosperity group. It's a wonderful woman named Amanda, and she was talking to me about folks. So kind of in that advertising focus was she was saying that they do 11-week programs, and these people are looking for money. They're looking for those opportunities. But she said that a common answer at the end of these 11-week things was they had no money in the accounts. So what we're trying to do is come up with some strategy, and that's where the marketing questions to focus on having those groups of like-minded individuals that are following along in your savings journey. So that way you can kind of see as you're getting kudos, you're getting commentary, and username Husker1212 in Canada is working with somebody out in California, and they're saving for a vacation. So you're able to share those triumphs. So you're able to share a 50% goal realization with everybody that's following you. And they're kind of, chugging along and helping and promoting you and giving you that kind of feedback. It's kind of like, not to go too negative, but like the smoker sensations and things like that. You're all sharing in a shared goal of saving and getting yourself built up. I still don't know what I'm going to Facebook advertise though. Does that answer it? The small changes. We really want to make it so that those small changes, taking it directly to the bank, but we have some people that say focus completely on the wallet technology of being able to take on all the best rates and be able to have a multitude, 12, 15 savings accounts that are all offering you 5, 6%, even without, all federally insured. You don't have to do the capital or the digit who pay zero interest and that sort of thing. So maybe around that bend of saying you get your interest, you get to keep your brick and mortar, and you get that opportunity to have those different goals. So that might be the direction we try to go at.
Awesome. We have a question back. Go ahead.
Kinda. There's a gentleman actually out of Canada, Toronto, that we're going to be doing some clubhouses here shortly. And as you can see, I'm just not sure how to talk, but trying to focus on kind of that financial literacy starting at that age to do it. But no, I hadn't even thought about like junior achievement or any of that. But there is a person that your wife should look into called paygrade.io. They're right up in Fort Collins, and she's a former teacher, and she has the coolest curriculum ever for little kids. Like they checking accounts, they're leasing their desks. Like it's nerdy, gets me excited, and it's amazing. So you might.
She's your wife, right?
It was pay grade. That yes, yep.
Right.
It's amazing. I swear, it's really cool stuff.
All right, Joseph.
So at the beginning of your presentation, you talked about saving for a vacation, and I thought that that was very poignant. And you also touched on that we financial education and literacy, we're very short-minded. So to your point, I used Mint and I used Acorn. I didn't stick with them, and a lot of the people that I've referred to Acorn and Mint, you got to stick with it, and it's not so sticky. It's a broad savings program. But what I liked about your platform was that it was goal oriented. It was around saving for one event. When you started getting into advertising and you started getting into all these other things, I thought you kind of lost it. I thought that if you stuck with that one singular set a goal and save towards that, I thought that was very sticky and it's easy for people, consumers to digest and stay with. It just feedback is I would only do that. Do that really well and then see about growing from there.
Thank you.
So thanks again for the presentation. And, you know, I was looking at the questions here and I'm thinking, why would or why wouldn't I use SmartMov? And I think I kind of actually have learned a little bit more about the angle and the focus in the post-presentation discussion here. So for example, I realized this is about changing behavior. It's not just about saving, it's about an actual shift in your daily little habits every day. And I wondered if you might pull in more of that into the presentation, maybe connect with the book that actually is several books by Charles Duhigg called The Power of Habit. And it's a very excellent writing, just really well written, but the action and the reward cycle of changing habits seems to be very much what your platform will do for people. And then to get back to the research on how you chose women as a demographic, I think that is really huge and has a ton of potential, especially to help women who are really trying to escape a difficult or abusive situation. To me, that would be like I would love to see the company focus on doing good in the world as part of your message. And that may attract a certain, you know, type of like nonprofits that are working with women in domestic assault shelters or, you know, battered women's shelters. Just kind of brainstorming here, but thinking of a do good in the world angle. But I like it. I'm really interested in this.
Thank you.
feedback. Anyone else? Yeah, Courtney.
I have a couple of thoughts from like a psychological perspective, because that's a lot of my expertise, and love to chat with you afterward. But I think for focusing, especially in a growth stage of startup, focusing, it's really important to know who you're not for. And I think that people are grossly unaware, just as a society. We think we know who we are, but we're more actually aware of what we aren't. And especially if you're dealing with women and women who have compulsive spending problems, they're more acutely tuned to the things they don't have and the things that they want. So I think if you were to incorporate that into your presentation and just knowing who you're not, just coming from a female perspective, you might be able to attract the right people, because I know that, when you're trying to grow, you want as many and you need 100 and you need all this, but it's like, no, I don't want you. The person who is pretty sure that credit cards are a great idea, like, if you have to educate them on why they're not and then sell them on why what you're doing is better, that's multiple steps, and it can just get really like resource exhaustive. So working more with people that already don't like their debt, kind of where you were when you were graduating, being like, I know I could do better. I just need a little bit of help to do it. I know that I want this credit card debt gone in the next year. I just don't know how to get it down. I know this, but how this? And if you come in at that moment by disqualifying people that may not be a great fit, you may have better feedback from audience experience and just finding the right users. And then also remember, we like you. I know it takes a lot of courage and all of that to come out here and to present your baby and be like, hey, everybody attack this and tell me what's doing, but we really do like you and we want what you have to offer, because we've been given what the big financial institutions, shove down our throat, and all this education on like, oh, there's good debt and all this other bullshit. We want it. And that there's a need out there. So really just be confident in that we need what you have to offer, and we're really excited to hear it from you. And we like you. So you did a good job.
Thank you.
Courtney, that was some smart feedback.
Hey, damn, how does microphones work? It's like this, so close. So I like the premise of what you're trying to do, but I think it's a very hard space to enter and to win. And one of the things that I won't be harsh. I'm not trying to be harsh, but I'll be blunt, right? I think design certainly impacts how people feel and the confidence, right? Like that someone could give. And I think it doesn't have to be perfect design, but you have to choose an approach. Like Acorn has a very homely kind of like approach to, you can be professorial, like, your brand identity. I think you need to figure out what that means. Like, I think there's a cow in your logo.
Yeah.
I don't know how that goes together with the things, but, and it's okay. Like, there's not a right or wrong answer. I think it's just about being consistent and clear, because if you're asking someone to trust you, like say with how to treat your money, right? There's a lot of different people that you gain trust from, and they don't all look the same, and that's okay. But you got to own being that person as a brand and as a company, like, so that every time they encounter you, they can rely on you being the same way, right? And so like that means like normalizing your passion to some degree, or pouring it all into one channel as a, like, and I don't mean like distribution channel. I just mean like, we're going to only focus on this way to make you self-sufficient in the long term, right? Like, and there's a lot of stuff you're going to say no to, and that's okay, right? Like, I don't think things have to be holistic. They just have to be good, right? And if it's good at doing the thing it does, you have a far greater chance of succeeding than if you cover like a very large gamut. I think that the branding just becomes really important ultimately in that story, because it's a confidence thing, right? Like, if I'm as a parent, if I see something and I feel like, do I trust this for my kid? It doesn't matter if it's great content. Like, it doesn't matter what's actually inside of it. I may ignore it, right? And so like it's a little pretentious, I guess, to some degree, but I think it's really important psychologically, like sort of on Courtney's point, just like
the way when you pick that audience, knowing how to reach them and how to communicate with them is also equally important. And then unifying everything. Like, so for example, if like my audience was like mostly women or females, like dark black with neon green, like for example, might not be like the optimal sort of palette, right, for reaching that audience, right? And so there's just like small considerations, and they seem small, but I think they make a big difference when you add them up.
Great feedback. I think the cow refers to SmartMov. Is that right?
Uh-huh.
Got it.
And a cash cow. Yeah.
All right.
Sort of following up on that question, I've seen a lot of entrepreneurs present their ideas and heard a lot of feedback that a lot of entrepreneurs have created a solution and then they go looking for a problem. And I think you've seen the problem out there, but looking at your target market, how do they perceive the problem? And I think that in the way that you pitched it was sort of like very nerdy. I could tell that you were super into it, but I think your target market is not at that point, right? They're not the ones that have looked at every single solution and they're looking for, you know, something that's going to save them slightly more or give them slightly better of an idea. You know, a lot of your target market has no background in finance and they don't know why what they're doing isn't working for them. And so I would say, you know, within the app and also within your marketing, really focus on the basics, on the simple of like, what do you have to do and what does it give you, rather than all of the technical things behind it or how you're better than XYZ solution. A lot of people aren't going to be comparing, you know, 5 different apps to see which one they like best. They're looking for a solution so that they can save money. And so find the problem from their standpoint and then craft the way that you talk about your solution, fixing that problem rather than the problem that you see in the broader world.
I'm going to add on to that. You start off with just like problem, savings, problem, and it would have been great to start off with like a story of your ideal customer profile, which is females from 25 to 40, and talk about their journey and their problem, and then your solution, how that connects. And that would have given us a better idea of like what your product actually does. Because you talked about like, is it savings for a vacation or for some type of financial situation, but how did that relate to that your ideal customer that you're targeting? All right.
Awesome. Well, first of all, I think you did a great job presenting. It really does take a lot of courage to get up there. So I appreciate that. I have just a quick thought, and I think it follows up on something that a lot of other people said as well. Something that I would be curious to hear about from your user base, and maybe this would be a good survey question, would be to ask what products they've used in the past, whether it's Acorns or Mint or whatever else in the fintech sector, and why it hasn't worked for them. I think you'll see a lot of people that have tried a lot of these products and it hasn't worked for them for a specific reason. And I think they're aware of that reason. I think you also see some people that have tried things and certain things have worked, but maybe not other things have worked. And so, as a startup, as someone trying to upend incumbents, you're probably gonna want to look for some different strategies from what the incumbents did. They always say the next Facebook will be something completely different. And so really talking to your market and talking to that problem and just saying, what are your raw thoughts, about why this didn't work for you? And then you being the mastermind behind how to engineer that solution. I would be curious to see what the results of that are.
To Joseph's point, I originally started my Acorns account probably 3 years ago, right? And that was when I was working in the corporate world. So I was focused on a new motorcycle. That was the goal. Does Acorn even mention anything? No, I had to create that. And I think that has to be the differentiating factor with what you're trying to do. And I think you're getting there, but it has to be portrayed to the client too, so that they understand that there is a goal, there is something. We're going to help you get to that goal, opposed to Acorn that says, hey, we're going to do this for you, but it doesn't really focus on the goal side of things. So I think you're on the right track. I personally had to shift my goals after I left the corporate world, obviously. Now it's to your point, it's a savings account for that unexpected, that might come down the road. So.
Great feedback. I have one more question. What as a community, where's that slide? It's not there. What as a community can we do for you?
Oh, well, just this feedback in general, just talking about kind of more of that market focus, understanding and meeting them at their problems, because I'm coming from from mine where I had my problems where I found the solution. Now I have to understand where they're coming from and kind of getting that. So if you're able to reach out to me and just kind of, feed my head with great questions about why hasn't it worked for them, or why did it work for them, like in the other fintechs or something like that. I'm an open book. I'll take a call, I'll take emails. And then my other ask, of course, is just beta testers. We're going to do this thing for free. We're trying to do it for advertising because we don't want to take money out of people's things. So if you think that somebody's a great tester or needs to have some fun with it and wants to help make something really cool, I'll shoot them my way.
Awesome. Let's give James a round of applause and SmartMov. Great job. You seem very natural up here. Looking for some community announcements. Any events you guys are attending or hosting? This is a great time to share them. Go ahead, Joseph.
So next Thursday, if you guys, or next Tuesday, if you guys are available from 6:30 till 8 o'clock, I'm hosting at Commons on Champa, restarting the startup community. So I've literally gone around to all kinds of co-working spots. I've met up with people from Techstars and the different event organizers as well, to have an open forum conversation about restarting the startup community. It's getting more people in the seats, and then how can we also better serve the community? So I highly encourage you guys to come out. This is kind of for event organizers and for co-working spaces, but I would love your guys' feedback so that we can actually serve your needs.
Awesome. Who else? Go ahead.
Hi, my name is Nicole. Some of you have heard me announce this, but in 18 days, not that we are counting, but on August 8th, I'm helping host a music festival at Levitt Pavilion, which is at Ruby Hill off Santa Fe and Mississippi. This is a free event, inclusive and accessible. So there are things there for everybody. There's a lot of really cool new technology of local startups that will be there, and a really wide base of bands. Doors open at 12. We are still looking for some volunteers if you're interested in volunteering with the event. We are also still looking for random sponsorships. So of random little things like bubbles. You can have your name on a bunch of bubbles, or cooling devices since it's supposed to be a hot day. So random little things, if you're thinking that that might be something of interest, we're talking, $100, $200, maybe less of sponsorship, and get your name at the event as well.
Thanks, Nicole.
Oh, shinemusicfestival.com.
Cool. Thanks. All right. Gregarious.
Hey, everyone. Tonight we have Denver Founders meeting again.
Get close. Get close.
Damn it,
You have
I
to
can't-
eat the microphone.
My microphone doesn't require this at home.
Sorry, this.
But
is
yeah,
different.
tonight at 6 o'clock, we at the Wing Coop, we have 250 RSVPs. We have free drinks for a little while till they run out. So come on by. It's all startup founders and entrepreneurs from the Denver community. So feel free to come by. Love to have you and see you. And I think most folks from our team will be there tonight at least. So good to see you again. And first in-person meeting of the Denver Founders meetup. So
Cool. Any other announcements? Awesome. Anybody want to brag about something awesome that happened this week? Any win? No one did anything awesome. Oh, you guys are awesome. Segue. No, wait, that's the next slide here. Just want to remind everybody here that you guys are awesome. Really appreciate you guys coming out. This is probably our biggest attendance so far. So round of applause to everybody for coming out. Let's do that. Because without you guys, I would just be here with myself and Courtney and Gregarious and Joseph. So keep on coming out. We'll be here next week, as you saw on the slide, here in Green Spaces. Nicole is presenting next week, right? Segue. So come out for that. And if you can't come here, we'll have this on Zoom as well, but you should come here because it's better when you're in person. And Please invite your friends, spread the word. This really works with word of mouth. So let your friends know to come out here at 9 a.m. Green Spaces. If you know anybody that is working on a startup, tell them to apply to present. It's a great place for batting practice, to practice their presentations and get free feedback as well. So just share them the link, 1millioncups.com/Denver as well. And we're on all the social medias as well. The pun of the day, I know it might be hard to read that, so put on the left. I really like taking these trips. They help remind me that I'm in control of my life. It's 2 controls on a remote island. Good reactions. Cool. Awesome. And that's all I got. So thanks for joining. You guys can hang out for a while, put some music on, get more coffee. There's swag on the table. Welcome to take any of it. I just ask if you do take the swag, promote it, and like wear the t-shirts out, let people know about 1 Million Cups. But hang out for the day if you want, see Holden, but we'll keep the space open for a little while. So thanks for coming out. One more round of applause for everybody. Cool. Thanks, guys.